Guess which one of these products on your screen right now generate the most fat loss results? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. Here's the answer. None of them. Surprised? For many years before my successful attempt at fat loss, I tried over and over again to lose fat. I tried every single product under the sun, all the products that were marketed as best for fat loss, but nothing worked long term. Eventually, I cracked the fat loss code and lost 40 kilograms and have managed to maintain that loss over the last several years. And as a result of that, the cracking of the fat loss code, I have now managed to help thousands of private coaching members to do exactly the same. So today in this video, I'm going to show you the code that I have cracked, just in case you want to lose fat long term too. And I'm going to show you by ranking some of the fat loss products, hacks and strategies that I have tried from best to worst. Along with that, I'm going to give you some pros and cons and some insider tricks to make them more impactful on your health and fat loss expedition. Here's the ranking system that I'm going to use. There are 5 different tiers. Tier A, B, C, D, and E. A being the best, go and get it now. And E being the worst, rather save your money. I'm going to be ranking the following 8 products or concepts or strategies when it comes to fat loss. Fat burners, macronutrients, whey protein powder, meal plans, food quality, a calorie deficit, walking, and then protein through food sources. If I really think it's good and fundamental fat loss, we'll rank it in tier A. If I think it's horrendous and you're wasting your money, of course then it will be ranked in tier E. Before you start wondering how this has got anything to do with the fat loss code that I cracked, well, once you see where I've ranked everything on the tier list, you will really start understanding what is important for you to get fat loss results. And once you understand that, that is where you start cracking the code, just like I did, and just like many of my private coaching clients have. Let's start with the obvious one, a calorie deficit. I have no other choice but to rank it in tier A. A calorie deficit is fundamental for fat loss. You have to be consuming less calories every day through food and drink than what you are expending every single day. That is how you create a calorie deficit. The pros of creating a calorie deficit is that fat loss will start taking place. The cons of creating a calorie deficit is, of course, you're going to have to reduce a number of your fun foods. And when you're in a calorie deficit, you might be more hungry than usual, but that is all part of being on a fat loss expedition. Where am I going to rank whey protein powder, you ask? Well, let's go with tier D. Many of you are going to be quite shocked because it's so low on the tier list. But one thing I want you to understand is that whey protein powder is not fundamental for your fat loss. The pros of whey protein powder is that it is a convenient way of increasing your protein intake. The cons of whey protein powder is that it can be quite expensive and maybe not fit within your financial budget. Another con of whey protein powder is that it is a faster digesting protein, which is most likely not going to keep you as full as what a food source of protein would, unless you purchase the casein whey protein powder. But again, whey protein powder is not fundamental for fat loss. And I reiterate that because most people believe that as soon as they start their health and fat loss expedition, you need to go and buy whey protein powder. I was actually going to even put it in tier E to say save your money, but I know it can be convenient for many of you out there. Your macronutrients get a solid C tier because they are not exceptionally fundamental for fat loss to take place because your calories are, but we're not going to write them off totally because they do carry a certain level of importance when it comes to your health and fat loss. The pros of having a good balance of your macronutrients on a daily basis, part of your food plan, is, well, that it's going to help you get a good variety of all different food groups within your plan. The one con about macronutrients isn't so much about the actual macronutrients, but it's about how people fixate on hitting the perfect macronutrient splits for fat loss. Fat loss can absolutely take place without you hitting the perfect macronutrient splits. So if you are someone that is overly fixating on the numbers of your macronutrients and it's driving you insane and it's driving you up the wall and it's leading you to be despondent about your food choices on your health and fat loss expedition, please note that you don't have to be hitting those macronutrient targets perfectly every single day. Which brings me to the next ranking on the tier list, your food quality. I'm putting your food quality straight up there with your calorie deficit, ranking it on tier A. Because as much as fat loss is about being within a calorie deficit, you always need to ask yourself, how am I going to adhere to that calorie deficit? How am I going to be less hungrier whilst I am in that deficit? And that is where the quality of your food choices plays a major role. Now, if you start making smarter, more calculated food choices, what you will actually find is that it balances your macronutrients out, meaning that you'll have more or less an okay split between your macronutrients. So yes, you want to focus on being within a calorie deficit, but your food quality and the quality of your food choices play a major role within the success of your fat loss expedition. Fat burners, where am I going to put them? I think you all know where I'm going to put them. Right at the bottom of the tier list. E, save your money. There are literally no pros when it comes to fat burners and a sustainable way forward for you losing fat long term. Stop wasting your money on every single little product that is labeled as fat loss or something that is going to assist your fat loss. Whilst something in the moment might suppress your appetite, what do you think is going to happen when you come off that certain thing that is suppressing your appetite? Well, your appetite is going to come back and you still haven't learned how to control it, or you still haven't learned how to make calculated food choices, or you still haven't learned how to stay within a calorie deficit unassisted. The same as fat burners. They might increase your levels of energy, which will see you doing more, which will see you burning more calories throughout the day. But what happens when you stop taking those fat burners? I'm just going to leave you with that question for you to think about for a little bit. This thing called health and fat loss is all about creating a healthier lifestyle through creating healthier habits on a consistent basis. That is how you are going to lose fat and keep that fat off long term. Meal plans, where we're putting them? We're putting them in tier D. A generic meal plan is going to help you nothing. Sweet, absolutely nothing. In the moment, for that duration that you are following the meal plan, yes, it will help. But again, once you stop following that meal plan, you still haven't learned how to create food choices, meal plans for yourself, and calorie-controlled meals for yourself that is going to help you. There are just so many cons when it comes to generic meal plans. As I mentioned, you're not learning how to create your own plan or make your own choices as you move forward. So it's not sustainable. Generic meal plans can also be very restrictive when it comes to the calories on those plans. And many meal plans lack your fun foods. They lack your enjoyment, which again is very restrictive. So whilst you'll be able to adhere to it for 21 days or for 4 weeks, realistically, long term, it is going to be a struggle. The reason why I didn't put it right at the bottom on tier E is because I have identified one pro about meal plans. And that is, if you do purchase a generic meal plan, oftentimes it can help see you getting started. But once you get started with a generic meal plan, you have to learn how to do it by yourself, so that when you finish that meal plan, you don't spiral out of control and gain all that weight back. The second last one we're going to put on this ranking list is your protein through food sources. And I'm going to rank that as solid B. The pros of eating more protein is that it's going to help keep you fuller for longer whilst you are within a calorie deficit. The con is that it can be quite expensive. Now, why am I ranking protein food sources much higher than whey protein supplements? Well, exactly for that reason. Your whey protein is a supplement for something that you are lacking through your food choices. And if you can get your protein through your food sources, there wouldn't really be a need for you to supplement with whey protein. And the last ranking goes to walking, and I'm going to rank it on tier A with your calorie deficit and your food quality. Walking is the most underrated form of movement when it comes to you creating healthier habits and a healthier lifestyle. If you are physically able to walk, it is something that is easily accessible for most people. As I mentioned, if you're physically able. Walking and moving more is something that doesn't need to take up your entire day. It's something that can be broken up into small, manageable, bite-sized sections throughout the day so that you don't feel overwhelmed by having to do an exercise session for an hour or two every single day. When I first started my 40-kilogram health and fat loss expedition, the only form of exercise that I did for the first couple of months was walking. And by walking, I mean hitting my daily step targets. Whether that was through a planned walk, or whether that was me pacing up and down the apartment, or whether that was me doing a dance workout in the comfort of my own home, that is what I did for the first couple of months when it came to my exercise and movement as I was starting out. So again, don't underestimate the power of steps, your daily steps, your movement, your daily movement, which can be done through any form of movement and walking. If we take a look at the rankings again, it's clear to see what you need to get started with ASAP if you are embarking on your health and fat loss expedition. Number 1, creating a calorie deficit. Number 2, focusing on the quality of your food choices. And number 3, moving more on a regular basis through walking. Or should I rather say, through hitting your daily step targets. And that, my friends, is the code that you want to crack. It is really that simple. Again, don't confuse simple with easy. And as you can see, you can chuck those fat burners, appetite suppressants, fat loss products from the local pharmacy out the window, and you can start saving your money and maybe buy yourself a new pair of walking shoes once your current ones are worn out because you've been smashing all your daily steps. Now, of course, these are not the only things that assist with fat loss. As you get more and more into your fat loss expedition, you will start looking at adding more things like maybe running or maybe gym workouts. Maybe then you will start looking more into your macronutrients. Maybe when you've started creating consistency within the basic things, you start looking at your sleep and how you can improve your sleep. But for now, if you are just starting out on your health and fat loss expedition, focus on those 3 things within tier A. Create consistency within those 3 things, and I can tell you now that you will start seeing results within your health and fat loss expedition. If you like these videos and you want to see more of them, hit the subscribe button. Also, there's a link in the description where you can purchase my digital recipe book. It's full of recipes that will help you control your calories. Or if you want to join my private coaching community, there's also a link within the description. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so do I.